Good morning. Welcome to Pathways Podcast. I'm Aaron Groves, and I am here with a YouTube legend, Mitch Roush. Let's get it out right away. What's your YouTube channel?
The Jeweler's Bench.
Jeweler's Bench, which we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
That's your business that did you start that with your dad then?
Yeah. My dad actually started it first back in
Okay.
Des Moines in the 80s.
In the 80s?
In the 80s.
Jeweler's
yeah.
Bench has been around for a while.
It has, yeah.
Nice.
He got out of it, closed up, like before I could remember. So I was probably like 2 or 3.
So basically you were the problem.
Yeah.
Kids
Yeah.
come along and everything changes.
It ruins everything.
So close it down. When did he reopen?
So we reopened it in, let's see, 2016.
2016.
2016, yeah.
Right on. And what is the Jeweler's Bench?
The Jeweler's Bench is a custom jewelry shop. We make custom jewelry, so we're not like your typical jewelry store where you walk in and buy a pre-made product.
Like a Jared or a Zales or whatever.
Yeah.
Every kiss begins with K.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we hand make every one from scratch. So,
Right on. And you've got videos of you actually like doing that. So if you
Yeah.
want to see the process,
yeah, you can check out our YouTube channel.
there we go.
Yeah, we just started kind of dabbling in that. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I've watched a few of your videos.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there seems to be a soda in almost every video.
Yeah, that's the theme. Friday Mountain Dew.
Friday Mountain Dew. All right. Right on. So Mitch Roush, Newton native, still here,
Yeah.
running a business. Talk a little bit about, actually, let's start with just kind of your walk of faith. Were you one of those people that just had this slow and steady journey in Christ, or do you have that all-in moment that you remember the time and place you were at? What'd that look like?
It's a boring, slow and steady. I was actually talking to my brother-in-law about this. Like, we have very similar testimonies.
Yeah.
And yeah, we both grew up in really good Christian homes, and yeah, just kind of a slow rise, which is he was talking about it like, oh, it's such a boring testimony. I'm like, yeah, but it's also maybe the best
Right.
testimony.
I think every parent wants
Yeah.
that testimony. Like we don't want our kids to hit rock bottom and have this,
Yeah.
this moment where like they're at the lowest of their life because they're in addiction or whatever.
Yeah.
We want them to have this just
Yeah.
slow and steady rise with
Yeah.
Jesus.
Which, I mean, you still struggle with sin
Sure.
on your slow, steady rise and deal with that. Everybody does. But yeah, I would say grew up in a Christian church, grew up in a Christian family. Like my parents, they maybe you should have them on here and tell their story. But
Yeah, I invited your dad, but you wouldn't let him come on.
yeah,
so.
yeah, somebody's got to man the shop. But yeah, they didn't grow up, I would say, Christian. They probably would have told you they were, but they weren't surrendered. So when I'm trying to think, like it was probably right after they got married when they really kind of surrendered their life for Jesus and started living for Him. Kind of their all-in moment. But yeah, so I grew up going to church here in town. Actually, we grew up in the First Assembly of God Church. Yeah, Jen remembers those days.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, mainly grew up at Community Heights, actually. But my faith journey, yeah, I always believed, because that's what you did. But probably in middle school is when things started clicking with me that, like, okay, this is real. Like, I can remember going to church camp and reading my Bible and like I could tell like the Bible was speaking to my life.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this is real. But yeah, it's just from there, it's just been kind of a slow and steady growth,
Yeah. What year did you end up coming to the way?
So when I went to my trade school for jewelry after high school, my parents switched coming to the way. They were going to Community Heights at that time.
Yeah.
And they came to the way. And so when I came back, I was like, I'm not going to that church.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go to the church I grew up in.
Sure.
And so I went back, and like all my friends were still at college because my trade school was like a 1 year program.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I sit by myself at this church that I grew up in, or I can go with my family to the way. So I was 19 then. Yeah, spring. Yeah, springtime when I was 19 years old. And yeah,
You came here and
came here and never left.
never left. Still here.
Yeah.
Right on.
Um,
What would you say? What did you when the Bible started speaking to you, and you realized like this is real, and you took on your faith as your own. What did you see God start to do in your heart or in your life?
it was pretty slow and steady, like I said. I would say that just kind of confirming that he was real in my life and speaking to me through his word. I mean, just like, every young guy, when I was a high schooler, I always struggled with lust.
Yeah.
And so just like reading the word of God and just speaking into me how to deal with that. And just that I wasn't alone in that sense. That was pretty confirming in my life.
Did you have any mentors or youth leaders or people in your life that spoke into you during that time?
No, I was a closet sinner at that time. Like, I didn't like talking about it, so I was kind of keeping it in.
Most adults now, adults are closet sinners.
Yeah.
So.
But I was really blessed. I had super good youth leaders growing up. Yeah, but I wasn't talking to them about that.
Sure. What? Well, you're a youth leader now.
Yeah.
Right? You and your wife.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. And what kind of stirred in your heart to get involved with that?
Well, it's all your wife's fault, actually.
Now, hold on. I seem to see just a recurring theme of blame being placed on me and my wife for everything you get suckered into.
Yeah. No,
I should say suckered.
Trish, she asked me, oh gosh, I think I was 20 maybe. She asked me to come on as a youth leader, and I told her no. And
she didn't give up, or what?
Yeah. That's actually, kind of my story too. I was hanging out with some guys that, weren't really good for my faith, but it was convenient, and I was lonely. So, everybody wants friendship.
Sure.
So, Wednesday night was guys' night. So we get together, grill, go out to eat. So she asked me, I'm like, oh no, I can't do that. It's guys' night. And then the Holy Spirit really started working on me like that next year. Like this isn't making you grow in your faith. Like, you really need to get out of this circle of friends. Yeah. And so, the next year she asked me, put my head down, like, yes, I'll do it. So I think I was 21 or 22 when I started helping with the youth. So must have been 22, because I think this was 10 years for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're with the high school youth group now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And what would you say? What keeps you coming back as a youth leader? Obviously the calling, but you seem to have a special relationship with the young men.
It is so gratifying to see the fruit and growth in their lives. Once you get a taste of that, it's hard to leave.
Yeah. One of the things I've noticed about you and your wife too is you guys are very invitational. Like, you open your home. I know you've invited youth over for dinner just to hang out, give them a place to go and love on them, and opening up your property for them to come, hang out at the pond, and so not a lot of people do that.
Yeah. And well, I'll tell you what. I can remember a few years back. I don't know how long ago this was, but I kind of noticed that those connections of leaders in youth group kids weren't going deeper, and I thought back to like when I was in high school, and we would go to our youth leader's house like at any time, and crash it. Like Troy Garton,
Yeah.
he was Troy and Lynn were involved with the youth group I was a part of growing up, and man, we'd just show up to their house like no call, no asking,
Yeah.
and we'd stay for hours.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted that with our youth group too,
Mm.
because you can just see the bonds that you make when you're open and willing.
Yeah. We've seen and heard stories about the Rabideaus who live down the street from us.
Oh yeah.
And
They're
you,
really good about that
yeah.
too, I think.
Well, my daughter was there till 10:30 last night at a Bible study.
Oh, really?
You know, and yeah, and we're just so blessed to have them and people like you guys that are just willing to pour into
Yeah.
the next generation. And so thank you for that.
Yeah, you bet.
Out of all the things you do with youth, because you do tech, you do youth group, you've done mission trips. What's your favorite?
Um, hmm. I like mission trips a lot.
Yeah. Why?
You see a lot of growth really fast. A lot of softening of hearts. And then that's really where you build relationships.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours on Wednesday night is such a little window to break through, but like when you're, spending a whole week with someone like from 6:30 in the morning to way too late at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really get to know people.
Yeah. What's it like to go on a week-long trip with a bunch of teenagers?
Well, it's smelly. You learn a lot of new words.
Oh, okay, so slang.
Yeah,
You get up to date on slang. Right on.
Yeah, and it also makes you kind of covet your high school body, because man, I don't do well on little sleep. Like I'm
Yeah.
a sleeper. So,
Yeah.
like last night, I was like laying down at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And, to stay up till 1 in the morning. Oh my gosh.
And sleep on an air mattress or
Yeah, yeah.
sleeping back on a hard floor. I heard one kid on this last mission trip slept on a kitchen counter.
Yes.
Because
Yeah, he did.
I would not be able to walk for days if I
know.
did that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know. It made me sore just watching him do that. Yeah.
Let's circle back to the business a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
So, one of the reasons we wanted to have you guys on, we've had other Christian business owners on. You see a lot of businesses where the sole purpose of their existence is to make as much money as possible for themselves.
Yeah.
But it seems like you guys are very giving and generous and sponsoring things and doing things. Like what's your guys' mission with the business?
Yeah. So, I look at it as we're providing a service for our community, because before we were here, everyone had to go to Des Moines for their jewelry. So it's a big inconvenience, and then you just don't know the quality of work you're getting. So that's like first and foremost is like we're servicing our community. Yeah, we're getting paid for it too, so that's a win-win. But I feel like we do a really good job at what we do.
Yeah.
And we're competitive on pricing, and we're saving people a lot of time, so they
Yeah.
don't have to drive.
Yeah, which is also money, saving
Yeah.
money because they don't have to spend gas to
Yeah.
go back and forth.
And then, we really want to be a part of our community. Like we want to positively affect it. We want to use our I
To
got
church,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is from the spring. Easter Sunday's coming up, and you guys like always hand out the little invite
Yeah.
papers, and I remember thinking, yeah, like whatever, like I'm not gonna do that. And then I was like, no, I should invite someone. And then God just laid on my heart, like, you need to invite your mail lady. And so
Wait, MAIL. Lady,
Yeah.
not M-A-L-E.
Yeah.
Mail.
Mail lady.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Post office.
Post
Postal worker.
office woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
So we've had this post office woman for quite a while, and she's super bubbly and always so nice, and we always chat. And
Yeah.
so she walks in one day. I'm like, hey, I got something for you, and I gave her the paper. I said, you should come to church with us on Easter if you don't have anywhere to go. And her face just lit up, and
Yeah.
she's like, this is from God. She's like, I've been thinking about like going to church, and it was funny because then we tell her what church we go to, and she's like, oh, that's the church I've been thinking about going to too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just like a nice subtle nudge.
Yeah.
And she came on Easter, and it was packed, and she even got a spot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And she brought her mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. She lives not far from
Yeah,
here.
she lives super close.
Because I know her a little bit of her, but I could
Mhm.
because her boyfriend's always at the gym.
Trends happen like you.
Sure.
Like right now, I'm making yellow gold 4-prong oval solitaire engagement rings like it's my job, but that
Well, it
yeah.
is your job technically.
yeah, it is. But yeah, it's super gratifying for me to watch a piece of jewelry go all the way through the process. So be designed, and then 3D print that model, cast it, set the stones, and then watch it go out the door.
Yeah.
That's my first job as a jeweler. I worked in West Des Moines, and 95% of what I did was just repair broken jewelry. So 4.5 years, I pretty much just fix broken jewelry, and you will lose your mind doing that. So I really wanted to get into the custom side of things and actually make stuff from scratch.
Yeah. So you're sitting here saying all that, and all you did was fix things, and I'm like, well, that's kind of Jesus fixes people, like over and over again. But he also creates, from scratch. And he creates people new. So, there's parallels there.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Let's talk a little bit more, just about the youth and just over the years. You said you've been in youth group for 10 years, serving and leading. What have you noticed over the last 10 years with our youth and the movement that seems to be happening right now with that generation?
Couple of things. So then you have all these kids. That were raised in our church. So then this is their home church. So it's their home youth group. So that's been a big change, and that's super helpful when your core group of kids, like their parents, are pouring into them and kind of bottle feeding their faith in a sense. It gives you a really, really good foundation.
Right on.
Other ways I've seen it changed is just growth. And it seems like it's pretty contagious. Like when one kid catches fire, and then he starts to have compassion for other kids he's going to school with, and starts sharing the gospel, telling about Jesus. Then it just spreads like wildfire. And I think that's what we're seeing today. Is a lot of kids are sharing the gospel with their friends.
Yeah. How do you encourage them to do that as a youth leader?
I think you got to do it yourself first, like not saying I'm like the best at it, but Ryan does a super good job. Ryan and Tara, they take their faith like very seriously, and the kids see that. So just good leadership.
What do you see with the struggles? Is the struggles you talked about when you were a youth, like the lust was a struggle? Would you say that's just been consistent, even from when you were in high school?
I would say it's gotten way worse when I was.
You think that's because
that's kind of the tough thing they're dealing with. That smartphones were just starting to catch on when I was in high school. There's just like a few kids that had them.
Yeah.
So
cell phones were not a thing when I was in high school. So
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then it was like text and talk only.
I always tell everyone this, and Jen's probably gonna laugh real hard, but my first phone, I was 16 years old, and so I actually started dating Steph before I had a cell phone, but I had to share it with my mom
Oh,
at
okay.
16.
So is there times that Steph would call and your mom would answer?
Well, we didn't call each other back then. We texted.
Well, that was like, we had landline phones, and like, so if anybody wanted to talk to you, like, it got
Yeah.
filtered all the time. There were no
hmm
private conversations
Yeah,
either.
I can remember. I was sharing a phone with my mom, and I signed up for texting, and I, obviously had to pay the difference if you know my mom, and I think I had 250 text messages a month, and that was rough. The
Like,
the str-
like, like you couldn't keep it to that low.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you just got hammered with overages if you went over that.
Yeah.
Like I forget, I think it was 25 cents a text then if you went over 250.
Wow.
But obviously there was no text counter on your phone back then, so
Yeah.
you had to kind of have a general idea of where you would be at if you could text or not.
Just all the loving words that you wanted to send her.
So
You wanted her to get through school.
yeah, we knew. So
You wanted her to get through school.
yeah, we knew we wanted to make it through that and have real jobs before we got married. So
And where did she go to college?
she went to Central College.
So she wasn't far.
She wasn't far, yeah.
So it wasn't too long distance of a
yeah,
relationship.
yeah. So
Right on.
yeah, pretty convenient. So
I know part of your guys' story is that you share with the youth, especially, is doing it right from a purity sense. And
yeah. I knew we were going to talk about sex.
yeah, you did. You called it beforehand. There we go. You're welcome, Steph.
Yeah.
Wait, she listens to our podcast all the time, right?
Oh yeah, everyone.
Yeah,
She
so
doesn't miss it, so she's probably sweating right now. Like,
What's he gonna say?
yeah.
No, like one of the things as a parent and as a leader of youth, you want to see them hold on to purity. And
Yeah.
I guess for any of the youth that are listening, like, how worth it was it?
Oh yeah, it's such a blessing, to just have one partner your
Yeah.
whole life.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of stress out of things. And I'm not saying we did everything perfect.
Right.
Like we could have done better. Everyone could always do better.
Right.
But yeah, it like I can remember one of my youth leaders in high school told me that he had been married for 10 years at that point, and he said him and his wife still fought about his
Like my wife and I had to pray through. And ask for forgiveness when we started to coming to the Lord, and like for my own children, I'm like you need to stay strong and firm in this and not give in. And
that's what I tell the ladies at youth group. It's like they don't realize that like they hold all the power in abstaining from that.
Yeah.
Because like I make a lot of engagement rings.
Yeah.
So I get to see a lot of couples before they're married and in different walks of life, and it's really comical. The couple that is living together, having premarital sex.
Yeah.
That guy, he could care less about getting an engagement ring or getting married because he has everything he wants already.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got like meals cooked for him, sex. Like he's happy. That's all really a guy needs is food and sex, right? But on the flip side, the young Christian couple that comes in, that young guy, he wants the ring as fast as possible, and he wants to get married as fast as possible, because he's got one thing on his mind, and it is probably not food at that point. But yeah, it seems like every girl's dream is to get married. Like it's just, I know, you just grow up communicating boundaries physically, like that. It's like to be honest, if Steph would have been like, "Oh yeah, like I'd have sex with you before," like I'd been like, "Okay,"
Yeah.
like I'm not that strong of a guy.
Right.
But when she was like, "Oh, I want to wait," I'm like, "I can wait. Like I'll wait for you,"
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's probably the biggest struggle is
Okay.
being on the same page, and
Yeah.
then ladies finding a guy that's willing to wait.
Right.
That's a really good sign right there
Yeah.
if they're cool with that.
Hmm.
Yeah, if I always tell the girls, like if a guy is pressuring you to do something you don't want to do, like dump them.
Yeah.
Like there's more fish in the sea.
Right. Ones that are
So
going to honor and respect
yeah,
you in a way that you should be respected and
yeah.
honored.
And then struggles after
After marriage.
marriage,
Yeah.
communication and not living selfishly anymore. Because like I was a bachelor before, like had my own house
Yeah.
and lived on my own. So I had done that for I don't know 3 or 4 years before we got married. So yeah, it was just all about me. Like, what did I want to eat? Like, I could
Yeah.
go fishing and hunting whenever I wanted
Right.
to. Like,
You didn't have to answer to anybody or really concern
yeah,
anybody
yep.
with your time.
So learning to die to yourself and think of your spouse first is kind of culture shock when you get married first.
Yeah. Did Steph like automatically or I can remember I lived by myself for a number of years and like I had like Arnold Schwarzenegger like
Oh yeah.
muscular lifting photos to
Mm-hmm.
for motivation to go work out and like first thing like my wife changed was yeah those are going bye-bye.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and it was nice to add a lady's touch to
Oh, it's
the
it's not a
house.
bad thing.
Yeah.
Brings balance to our world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say? What are some of the marital challenges now? Like you've got a kid,
Yeah.
got more on the way.
Yep. Twins
When
on the
I say
way.
more, twins,
Yep. Yep.
twinsies,
Twins. Twin girls.
twin girls.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
it's
now
exciting.
2 girls and a boy, just like the Groovy Groves.
The Groovy Groves. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. You're outnumbered now, man.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting.
it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I would say that is probably the biggest struggle now is like all your time and energy goes into your kid or
Mm.
future kids. So finding time for just me and Steph is a struggle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But do you find when you do it, like, oh, this is good, and we need to do this more?
I'll have to report back to you on that.
That's one of the things Trish and I, we talk about is like when we get away and it's just us and we can focus on us and our kids are old enough now, we can go on a date night and,
Mhm.
they can take care of them. To plan it again, you always have an excuse of why you can't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So you just got to bite the bullet
Mhm.
and continue to plan.
What was the last trip you and Trisha did? Just you two?
We went to an all inclusive in Mexico
Me-
last December.
Were you there a full week?
6 days.
6 days. Did you hit a point like where you were kind of missing your kids, or were you
No.
like,
No.
no, you didn't? Neither of you, or just
No,
you?
neither.
Oh,
Neither. But we my wife when we were on our way down, she was like, we should probably call every night and just check in with
did
the
you
kids.
do that?
And I was like, maybe if we have time. And like I just wanted a getaway where I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to read some books. I wanted just to talk with her and lounge and like not have to worry about cooking meals or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
And she is like an adrenaline junkie. So she's always
Oh,
wanting to go
really?
and do things. So I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I had to like throttle her down and be like, we're just gonna stay and relax.
Uh-huh.
And we
That's
did
funny.
we did check in with the kids every night.
Yeah.
We'd call
That's
for
good.
15 to 20 minutes,
Uh-huh.
and they were great for my parents and her parents. And so it was like,
That's good.
ooh, since they were great, maybe we can do this again.
Yeah, yeah. That's why
But-
I'm already planning that out when the twins are old enough that we can leave
Yeah.
them behind. We're going somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had been years. So, I mean, I think we got away for a weekend one time in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But it was before kids that
Yeah.
we had gotten away together, just
Yeah.
us,
Hmm.
and so yeah,
Hmm.
I wish we could.
People too.
Yeah,
It's crazy. That people too.
yeah,
It's crazy. That's me and Steph. We recognize couples that are empty nesters, or soon to be, or are that like are super excited to just be them two again.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Like Steve and Vicky are really good
Oh, Pastor Steve's like,
example of
it's the greatest season of my
that. Yeah,
life.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so that's what I try to keep that in mind. Be like, that's what I want to be like when we're empty nesters.
Yeah, for sure. We have a calling and an obligation as Christians to pour into our kids and
Yeah.
to raise our kids in a Christian home where they can eventually take their faith on as their own and go out and be their own lights and
Hmm.
find a Christian spouse and raise their own little families.
Yeah.
So we have a duty to do that, but in the midst of it, like you can't get your priorities mixed up. Like
Yeah.
my wife and my relationship with her is a higher priority than my relationship with my kids. As
Yeah.
much as I love them,
Yeah.
I mean they're my own DNA, but like
Hmm.
my wife's going to be there when they're gone. So I need to make sure it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
and my kids will be gone at some point.
Yeah.
They're not going to be hanging around. No, they'll either leave on their own or they will be forced to leave. One or the other. They will get jobs and be productive people in this society. So,
Yeah.
anyway, what what would you say? So, in your free time, what do you
And yeah, just watch it come together. So the older I get, the less interested I am in like a big rack, but I really like the
On it.
food aspect of it.
Yeah. So, you obviously do you process it on your own or do you take it to a locker? To
I do
process?
both.
Okay.
I'm like Steph loves deer sticks,
Yeah.
so typically I try to take some to a locker and have them professionally done.
Yeah.
Because I haven't mastered that yet. But if it's just like deer steaks roast burger, I do that myself.
All right. Right on. And then the fishing aspect. Why do you enjoy fishing?
Um, it's pretty relaxing.
Yeah.
And I don't actually eat a lot of fish. Yeah, but I just love like taking my kayak out, getting on the water, and yeah, it just kind of refills your soul.
They say the worst day of fishing is better than the best day at work.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Not for me, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. You enjoy
Yeah.
working that much?
Yeah. I love my job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Right on.
Uh-huh.
And do you have any openings for employment or anything?
Yeah, shameless plug.
Yeah, go for it.
If you know a jeweler, we'd probably hire him.
Yeah. Because it's just you and your dad, right?
Yeah. It's
And you
just
guys
us
are
two.
plenty busy.
Yeah, we're super busy. Yeah. So, yeah, there's not very many jewelers in Iowa, believe it or not. I was talking to Jonathan Van Hamer the other
Yeah.
day, and
Wow.
so, yeah,
That's nuts.
yeah.
I was
pretty
gonna
crazy.
ask, what's the biggest piece of jewelry you've ever made?
That's it.
What is it?
Yeah.
What about the biggest diamond?
Biggest diamond. I I haven't done a lot of really big ones, but you'll probably think this is big. But a few years ago, we did a 3 carat natural, and with the ring, sales tax, everything, it's about $40,000. So
Man, that's about half of my first house.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So one thing, and I've been in your building. We've chit chatted about things before. One of the things, the trends is lab grown diamonds now
Yeah.
versus natural
Uh-huh.
diamonds.
Yeah.
And explain why things are going to lab grown versus natural.
Well, it's the peasant's way to big bling. It's so like for example, a good 3 carat natural that diamond is probably around like $35,000 to $40,000 for just the stone.
Yeah.
Whereas like a 3 carat lab grown is it'd be like around $3,500 ish for that stone.
Jeez.
So it's like a tenth of the price,
Right.
and you can't tell the difference between the two. Even I can't under a microscope.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if someone comes in, like, how do you distinguish? They're like, yeah, this is a natural diamond. Where,
Flaws to the
yeah.
naked eye. So if you can see flaws in that diamond to the naked eye, it's a pretty good indicator it's a natural stone.
Hmm. Right on.
Yeah.
Getting educated here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Uh huh.
jewelry.
Yeah.
Do you guys? So if someone came into your business,
Hmm.
like how customizable can you make something?
The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be the next one to buy a $300,000 rosary.
You're pointing at me, but I'm telling you right now, I am not that person.
No, we have a lot of fun. Like we made an engagement ring here recently for a person at our church, and we snuck two crosses like under the diamond, just kind of symbolize that faith is the foundation
That's
of
cool.
their relationship. We can put fingerprints on the inside of rings. We could actually do people's handwriting. So if you were to, get family members' handwriting, like you dig up an old card or something,
Yeah.
we can put that onto a piece of jewelry or on the inside of it, a ring or something.
What's some of the neat like memorial thing? Like, so if I was going to pass away and like I wanted to leave something for my wife to maybe wear, like she's
Mm-hmm.
not gonna wear my wedding ring.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
workout
Yeah.
ring. I never wore a wedding ring. I always said it was a
Mm-hmm.
workplace hazard.
Yeah.
If I was chasing
Yeah.
someone and got caught on a fence, I didn't want to rip off
Yeah.
my finger, and so I never wore a ring. And then like for our anniversary, we'd go out or we'd go on vacation or something,
You
and
put
I
it
would
on.
wear it because my wife wanted me to wear it, but I would end up taking it off, like
Uh-huh.
flipping it around, twirling it,
Yeah.
But I
Uh-huh.
started wearing these rubber ones,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
now the ladies know.
Did you buy a gold wedding band back in the day or 18 years ago?
It was very good.
Yeah.
18 years ago, I just
Yeah.
celebrated my 18th on
Yeah.
777,
Uh-huh.
um, or on 7725.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't. I don't know. It's got some silver on it, so it's
Silver.
like
Uh-huh.
it's it's different blends.
Do you remember how much you paid for it?
No,
Okay. I could
seven
have told you if it
seven
was.
$800.
Oh, yeah, it was gold then.
Okay,
Yeah, if you
right
paid
on.
that much for it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it's probably got gold in it.
yeah. The trend nowadays, most guys just get like a $25 tungsten ring off of Amazon.
Okay,
They put all their money into her rings, and then they
which makes
save.
sense. They're the
Oh,
ones
yeah.
that wear it.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
right on.
Yep.
Well, what else we need? What else haven't we covered?
Um. Hmm. Interesting. Trying to think of.
We just
Yeah.
give our wants and
Oh,
what we
yeah.
need, and we don't take time to thank Him. But the Bible says like God enjoys it. It's like a
Yeah.
pleasing aroma to Him when we
Oh,
come to Him
yeah.
in Thanksgiving. So
Uh-huh.
kudos to you for recognizing it and speaking
Yeah.
it out. But
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah. Oh, something I can share for you. That this is just like a testimony of God's goodness in business. But
yeah,
back when we decided, me and my dad decided we would open up the business. The plan was I was getting married and Steph had a good job, so I could mooch off of her paycheck and open the business. So that fall we were getting married. Like I quit my job like 2 days before our wedding with the plan of starting the business, and I was gonna run the business for a year, and then my dad was gonna quit his job and join. So
Yeah.
I was gonna get it established and get it up and running. And but the summer before I got married, my dad's like, "I'm just gonna quit my job too. Like we'll just start it together." and I had so much faith that that was God's plan that I'm like,
Mm.
man, yeah, what the heck, let's send it. And so we both quit our jobs and to start this, and we didn't have enough work for one full-time jeweler, and there's two of us, and we immediately had enough work for two full-time jewelers.
Wow.
Yeah, just like instantly.
God's
Um,
favor.
oh yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's funny because like that was happening. It's funny because like that was happening, and I didn't think much of it because it's like, oh yeah, this is God's plan. But looking back at it now, I'm like, oh man, God was so good there. And
Yeah.
yeah, but it's been a really
Yeah.
yeah, but it's been a really good move.
And yet you're still taking an hour out of your day to come on this podcast.
Yeah, yep, you got to. That's why you own your own business, so you can be flexible.
Yeah. Right on. Right on. Do you
Yeah.
get a lot of people just stopping in just to check you guys out and
Yeah,
have
yeah.
conversation?
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people, especially the last year, just kind of pop in to see what we're all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had any famous people order a ring from you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
David Carr, is he famous?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
famous, man.
Yeah,
he's a national
He's got like
champion.
160,000 followers on Instagram. That's
Yeah.
pretty famous.
Yeah. How did
Yeah.
that come about? How did he hear about you?
Oh, that's a God story in itself. Yeah. So I love sliding into those DMs and asking famous people if I can make their jewelry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had followed David for a while, and he's a big Jesus follower. Like wears his faith on his sleeve. Like really good example.
Yeah.
And I saw he had a girlfriend. I'm like, I'm just gonna send him a message on Instagram, and so I did, and usually no one responds. Like I send a lot of those messages.
Yeah.
And a week later, he responded. I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
Yeah.
this is crazy. And we chatted, and he's like, oh, I'd love to work with you guys and with my engagement ring, but he's like, I'm not ready yet.
Hmm.
So then, a few months later, ironic. So immediately messaged him like, hey,
Yeah.
you're coming to my church to speak to our youth group. Like, do you just want to get together beforehand? And he was like, oh, I was hoping that we could pull that off when I saw, like, that
Yeah.
church, and you were both in Newton. Yeah, so we got to make his engagement ring, which was real fun.
So you met up with him that night and talked about it? And...
Yeah, so he actually came to the shop before speaking at the church.
Okay.
And we had dinner. I thought, Wednesday night that the church was feeding everyone, that he'd need to be here for that. But they didn't feed everyone that night. So I was like, oh, do you just want to, like, get dinner beforehand? Like, we'll figure out what you want for a ring and then get you some food before you have to come here. And so me, David, Steph, and Levi, we ate Jimmy John's on the shop island before he came to the church. So
Nice.
yeah, which was really funny because we were like, I asked him, I'm like, how do you want to play this off tonight at the church? Like, do you want to act like we don't know each other? Because,
Yeah.
like, if we know each other, people are going to be like, wow, how do you know? And he's like, yeah, let's play it off like we don't know each other. So it was funny because, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's funny because you're not the only person he knows at our church.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that's...
I
like,
know.
he
knows
was at
everything.
a wedding
Yeah.
with Logan and Morgan.
Yeah.
Like he's
Uh-huh.
one of the groomsmen for Logan, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a DM to slide into my
Oh, yeah.
Instagram that doesn't exist. Well, I feel like we've covered a lot of stuff here today.
We've been all over the board, too.
Nothing that made you too uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Nothing you had to pass on.
Yeah. I didn't have to blink twice.
So move on to the next
Yeah.
question. Oh shoot.
Uh-huh.
Well, we appreciate everything you do in the community, and you and your dad, and just how giving you guys are, and how involved you are in the community, and just having another Christian business to be a light and to be able to engage in conversation with people that stop in, and I think it's a blessing to our community. So thanks for answering the call. Years ago when he called you to go into this and give up your job and just take a step of faith, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but then also thank you for all the investment you pour into the youth. And I know Steph does the same, whether it's at youth group. Her and my wife went down to tech
Yeah.
together this last one, and
Uh-huh.
um, you guys are always just pouring out and pouring into these kids, and they're being impacted by it because they come back from college and they grab you at church on Sunday, or they
Yeah.
want to.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing how many of them want to go out for lunch, and
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Or you'll be at a grad party and one will be like, "Can I come over for dinner tomorrow night?" You're like, "Yes, you can."
do you say yes or do you say let me ask my wife first?
Well, you can't say no to that. But yeah, I double check it with Steph.
Yes.
Well, you can't say no to that. But yeah, I double check it with Steph.
Yeah.
Communicate well.
Yeah. There you go. Got to communicate that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and like was willing to come in and just share a little bit of his story and about what you're doing in his life. Was willing to come in and just share a little bit of his story and about what you're doing in his life and what you have done, Lord. And so we're just so thankful for him and the work that you've done in his life and the foundation of faith that you've built up in him, Lord. And we just pray you continue to help his light burn bright, Lord, so that he can be just a light in the midst of darkness in our community, Lord, and to be someone that can offer encouragement and prayer and be invitational to others that come into his business, Lord. And I just pray for more people to come and for doors to be opened and conversations to be had with others who don't know you yet, Lord. And let him be a vessel that you use to offer hope that can only be found in you, Jesus, to others. And Lord, we thank you for him, and we thank you for the amount of time and energy that him and his wife pour into the youth, Lord, and spend interacting with them and serving them and just loving on them, Lord, and that it's having a great impact. And so, Lord, we just pray that you continue to use them and continue to allow them to be an impact in others, Lord. And I also pray for um, their girls, Lord, their twins that are on their way but aren't here yet. Lord, we just pray for safety and health um, of Steph's pregnancy and eventual delivery, Lord. And we just pray that you continue to just um, multiply children and homes of believers, Lord, where they're going to be raised in a home that loves you, Jesus, and that will eventually be sent out to impact the